You come home. The key in the lock sounds unnaturally loud in the quiet apartment. The air should be electric with your news, buzzing with a victory you've bled for, a promotion, a breakthrough, a moment of pure, undiluted triumph. You expect confetti, a shared gasp of joy, a collision of two people celebrating as one. Instead, you find silence. A silence so heavy it suffocates the air, pressing down on your shoulders. It's a physical weight. She looks at you from across the room. Her eyes, usually a harbor, are now deep, dark pools of unreadable emotion. And in their reflection, you don't see a hero. You don't see a partner. You see a threat. The celebration dies on your lips, a stillborn child of joy. The words catch in your throat. "What's wrong?" you ask, and your voice is a foreign sound in this tomb. A shrug, a slight turn of the head. "Nothing," she says. The word is not a reassurance. It is a razor blade wrapped in silk. "I'm just tired." But it's not the weariness of a long day. It's the profound exhaustion of a soul that has just lost a battle you didn't even know you were fighting. You see it in the slight tightening of her jaw, a barely perceptible tremor. The way her hands clench in the fabric of her dress. Your triumph has not built a bridge. It has erected an invisible wall between you, cold and impenetrable. You start to question everything. Was I too loud? Too proud? Did I somehow make her feel small with my own expansion? Guilt. It arrives not as a storm, but as a cold, creeping fog. It seeps into the room, clinging to your victory, tarnishing its shine. And then, without a word being said, you find yourself apologizing. Apologizing for the very thing that should have been a source of shared strength. Stop. Understand this. This isn't just a bad mood. This isn't simple envy that will pass with the morning sun. This is a psychological cage. And the bars are being forged right now, in the chilling silence, with the heat of your success and the cold steel of her fear. This is a phenomenon known to psychologists as competitive threat jealousy. It is primal, it is potent, and it is deeply misunderstood. It stems from a deeply ingrained belief that a relationship is a zero-sum game. One person's rise must necessitate the other's fall. This is social comparison theory at its most intimate and brutal. Her sense of self-worth is not an internal, stable flame. It is a reflection, measured in the mirror of your accomplishments. When your star rises, a terrifying subconscious alarm sounds within her. She believes her own light must, by necessity, dim. It's not a conscious cruelty. You must understand that. It is a primal, panicked defense mechanism against a perceived existential threat. Your growth is not processed as a shared win. It is processed as a personal loss, a fundamental disruption to the ecosystem of the relationship. Every step you take forward feels to her like a step you are taking away from her. The world you shared is no longer big enough for your new self. The subconscious fear is potent and terrifying. If you become more, you will inevitably want more. You will outgrow her. You will leave. This is where anxious attachment style rears its head. Her core fear is abandonment. Your success is not a milestone, it's a departure signal. And so, the cage is built. Not with steel and locks, but with materials far more insidious and effective. Guilt, fear, and weaponized love. The first bar is forged from weaponized vulnerability. It sounds like this. "I just feel so small when you talk about your amazing new job." Instantly, the narrative flips. It's no longer about your achievement. It's about her pain. Your joy is now the cause of her suffering. Her sadness becomes your burden to carry. The second bar, passive aggression. This is the art of the subtle wound. The death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's the faint sigh when you take an important work call. The small cutting joke in front of friends about how you've changed. Each comment is a tiny chip at your confidence, a subtle poison designed to make you question if your success is worth the drama it causes. The third bar, shifting the goalposts. This is a masterclass in psychological containment. You get the promotion? She immediately worries about the new stress. You finish your project? She highlights a new problem at home that needs your immediate attention. Your success is never allowed to just be. It is never a destination. It must always be a prelude to a new anxiety, a new crisis only you can solve. She is not trying to hurt you. You have to burn this into your mind. She is trying to stop you from leaving. The cage is not to punish you. It's to keep you with her. She is a prisoner of her own insecurity, and she is desperately trying to make you her cellmate. Consider the story of Julian and Eleanor, a story played out in a million quiet homes every single night. Julian was a painter. For years, he toiled in a dusty attic studio, a ghost sustained by cheap wine and Eleanor's unwavering belief. She was his muse, his champion, the quiet bedrock upon which he built his chaotic worlds of paint and canvas. Then, it happened. The impossible. A prestigious downtown gallery offered him a solo exhibition, the culmination of a lifetime of dreams. The night he told her, racing up the stairs with the letter clutched in his hand, he expected her to fly into his arms, to share in the explosion of his joy. Instead, as he stood before her, breathless and beaming, he watched her face become a perfect porcelain mask. Her light went out. "A whole exhibition," she said, her voice a fragile whisper. "That's a lot of pressure, Julian. Are you sure you're ready for that kind of scrutiny?" In the weeks that followed, her support soured into a constant, low-grade anxiety. A poison administered in small, loving doses. She'd question his choice of colors. "A bit garish, don't you think?" She'd remind him of past failures, framed as cautionary tales. On the opening night, his moment of apotheosis, the gallery was filled with light and applause. It was everything he had ever wanted. But then he saw her, in a corner away from his brightest painting, crying. He rushed to her side, his triumph forgotten. "What is it, my love?" he pleaded. "It's my coat." She wept. "I can't find the coat you bought me. I think it's been stolen." And just like that, the entire room, his patrons, his critics, saw not his brilliant art, but his frantic, desperate attempts to console his weeping partner over a lost coat. She could not bear to be the supporting character in the story of his success. So she lit the stage on fire to make the story about her. Julian's triumph was held hostage by her fear, and in that moment he felt the cold iron bars of the cage slam shut. And that is the terrible, seductive truth of it. You look at her, trapped in her own fear, and the love you feel for her screams at you to fix it. So you begin to shrink. It's a subtle process, a negotiation with your own soul. You downplay your achievements at a party. "Oh, that promotion? It was nothing, really, just lucky." You turn down an incredible opportunity because it involves travel, and you know it will upset the balance at home. You stop sharing your good news altogether. You learn to celebrate your victories in silence, alone, so as not to disturb the fragile peace. You are dimming your own light to make her feel brighter. You believe this is an act of love. It is not. It is an act of mutual destruction. You have willingly, lovingly, stepped into the cage and locked the door behind you. The transformation, the chance for freedom, comes not with anger or resentment. It comes with a quiet, heartbreaking clarity. It is the realization that her insecurity is a chasm you cannot fill. No matter how much of yourself you pour into it, you are not responsible for her self-worth. You can love her, you can support her, but you cannot build her foundation for her. And the most important realization of all, her cage is not your home. The greatest tragedies in relationships are not the loud, explosive fights that shatter windows. They are the silent, creeping erosions of the soul. The slow, quiet process of becoming less, to make someone else feel like they are enough. A true partner is a harbor, not a cage. A place you return to for safety and refitting, not a place you are kept. They are the wind in your sails, not the anchor that holds you in the shallow, familiar waters. So look closely at the architecture of your love. Is your success a shared flame, warming you both from the cold? Or is it a wildfire that makes her feel threatened, exposed, and cold? Do not mistake a cage for a sanctuary. Do not mistake her fear for your fault, for the most profound love is not about staying the same together, frozen in a perfect moment. It is about having the courage to grow, even when it is frightening, and trusting, with every fiber of your being, that you will find each other on the other side, stronger, brighter, and free.